Welcome back, Towners. Today we're going to make a keto version of Cincinnati chili. Let's get it. Welcome back, Towners. Today we're going to be making some Keto Cincinnati chili, basically a keto version of Cincinnati chili. And to start off with this recipe, we have a large pot of water. It's about 40 ounces of water here. And to that, we're going to add in a bunch of seasonings. We have things like cumin, allspice, some ground cloves, crushed red peppers, salt, pepper, sugar substitute, onion powder, garlic powder, cocoa powder, and some chili powder. We're going to add all of these seasonings into our large pot of water. And this list of the seasonings will be all in the description box with the rest of the recipe. But we went ahead and added all of the seasonings into our pot of water. I probably should use a whisk here, but it's perfectly fine. It's going to cook for so long that all of these seasonings are going to break up if there are any lumps in it or anything. To that, we added in a can of diced tomatoes. I didn't have crushed tomatoes. I should have used crushed tomatoes. But again, these are going to cook for about 3 hours. So those tomatoes will disintegrate in the pan. But if you want, you can definitely pop them into a blender or a food processor and smash those up before you add them into the skillet, into the water. But yeah, use crushed tomatoes. It'll be a lot better. Next, we have our ground beef. I decided to go with some freshly ground beef because it's small crumbles, and that's what you want because this meat's going to turn into like a meat paste. So you want the crumbles to be broken up into smaller pieces. You don't want to like come out of the tube, so that way it'll be harder to break up and it'll be like little meat crumbles. So the freshly ground one just works better with helping to break everything up, because after I put everything into the water, just basically went through and tried to break up any large lumps, smashing any of the larger pieces to the sides of our skillet. And it just worked and helped us do that a lot better with the looser crumbles that you saw there. But after that, we did add a bay leaf to that, and then just went ahead and just started to cook this through, brought it to a simmer. And we're basically going to be cooking this low and slow for about 3 hours. So every so often, just go ahead and stir it up. Just a note to self, just make sure that once this comes to a good boil, because you're going to cook this the whole time with the lid off. And whenever you do stir it up, you kind of mess with the air pockets that are formed from the bottom of the skillet. And when you do that, it'll start splattering like crazy until it forms a new air pocket. So whenever you do stir it up to mix it around, you might want to put the lid on for a few seconds until it starts to get back to its normal simmer, and then you can take the lid right back off. But this is us at the probably about 30-minute mark. I forgot to add some tomato paste to it, so I went ahead and added the tomato paste to the skillet, and then took our spatula again and started to move it around to break it up because it was in a large clump. And after we broke that through, just continue with the cooking. And next, you're going to see us at probably about the 2-hour mark, and then finally at the 3-hour mark. But you can see the fat is basically coming to the top of the pan. And, because this is 80-20 chuck meat, so we just put it straight in, no rendering the fats or anything. So the way that we handled that was basically after the meat finished cooking and cooled down, we went ahead and put it straight into the refrigerator. And when we did that, we let it go into the refrigerator for about 2-3 hours, enough for the fat to solidify, and then scrape that off. So here you can see all of the fat basically at the top of the skillet. There's a lot of flavor in that also, but we're not going to strain it, because if we try to strain everything, I know something would happen now. I'd probably lose half of it down the drain, or something would happen. So once it was finished cooking, we popped the lid on it, put it in the refrigerator after it cooled down, and let it cool. And here is how all of the fat that came to the top of the skillet looked. And we just took a spoon and scooped off the top layer. It's very hard, so you can just scoop right under it, and took that off. I eventually switched over to the same spatula that I was using to cook the meat with, and I just basically ran that along the top like I was skimming it. Just ran that along the top half of the fat and scraped that all off and put it into another bowl to the side. This is how it looked once we were finished scraping everything off. And at that point, we were good to go. We just, I didn't want to reheat the whole pan. So I just scooped out what I would need for my bowl of chili and then heated it up in another skillet. Now it's time for us when we're making our noodles. We're using squash noodles here. And I definitely need to get a better spiralizer because this one is horrible. But we made it work. We spiraled about 3 small zucchini. And they had a larger setting. I probably could have made the noodles a little bit larger, but these work fine. This is how they looked after we finished spiralizing them. We did salt them. We put a little bit of salt on them and let them sit for about 10 minutes, try to render as much liquid out of them as we could. And after that, we went to the skillet. For our skillet, we just put down a little bit of olive oil and just put our noodles straight in. Put it over about a medium-high heat and flash sauteed these really quickly, only for about 45 seconds or so, because I didn't want them to start releasing all of their liquid and make the chili like any runnier or anything. So just saute these up for a quick 45 seconds and then let the heat from the chili that we're cooking help to heat up the noodles. And after that, we're good to go. So after we finished sauteing them, we went ahead and just went back to our bowl and started to build our chili. Those are our sauteed squash noodles. And this is the chili that we heated up in another skillet. You just pour that right over top. Then we added our additional ingredients, some diced yellow onions, as well as some cheddar cheese. Now, the way they do Cincinnati chili, they call it 2-way, 3-way, or 4-way, or 5-way. Basically, depending on which toppings you add to it. The noodles is considered 1, and then the chili would be 2. So 2-way would be noodles and chili. 3-way would be noodles, chili, and onions. 4-way would be considered noodles, chili, onions, and cheddar cheese. And then 5-way would be considered noodles, chili, onions, cheddar cheese, and beans. Keto, we're not using beans, and we're substituting the spaghetti noodles for squash noodles or zucchini noodles, whatever you want to use. But here is a close-up of our keto version of Cincinnati chili. And it worked well. It came out really nice. The noodles definitely did their job. Again, they're not spaghetti noodles. They're not soaking up the liquid in sauce like a regular noodle would, but it definitely does their job for being a noodle for this recipe. Now, here we are going in for a taste test. Now, this chili came out really nice. It has more cloves and allspice and cocoa powder than I would normally use in my chili, but I really like it. I definitely would do it again. I don't have any issues with that. Now, again, we made this chili an ode to the Cincinnati Bengals for making it to the Super Bowl. So, since it's a staple in Cincinnati chili. So I wanted to try it out and do something for them for making it. They haven't been in a long time. Are they going to win? I don't know. Don't know at all, but I don't know I don't even know who I'm going to pick yet, probably till the game starts, but congratulations to them for making it to the Super Bowl. And here's my version of keto version of Cincinnati chili. If you guys have any questions or comments, as always, please feel free to leave them in the comment section below. And as always, thank you guys for watching. Enjoy.
Enjoy. And please subscribe. Enjoy.
Hey, Towners. Please like, share, and subscribe. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them in the comment section. All ingredients and directions are listed in the description box below each video. And as always, thank you guys for watching.